June 8th. On February 12th, 2022, Governor Baker signed into law an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. This includes an extension until July 15th, 2022 of remote meeting provisions. Per Governor Baker's extension, the public will not be allowed to physically access the school committee meeting. This meeting will be conducted hybrid. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment. Comments can be emailed in advance of the 6:30 PM start time to lrand@whittier.tech.ma.us. All comments will be recorded to the record, and all attempts will be made to mention them live during the meeting. Any emails received during the meeting will be mentioned at the following meeting. Approval of minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Tucker.
I move the approval of May 11th minutes of the regular school meeting.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? We're going to take a roll call vote. Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mr. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
yes,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Tucker.
I move the approval of May 11th minutes of the executive session.
Second.
Is there any questions, discussions on that? Roll call vote. Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
yes,
Treasurer's report. We have a motion to accept.
Move approval. Second.
Any questions, discussion? Take a vote. Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mrs. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
yes,
Okay, thank you. Old business.
We have a vote on this.
Superintendent's evaluation.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Tucker.
under Treasurer's Report A, it
Oh,
appears you want to
Yeah,
vote.
I'm sorry.
I will move that we have a ability to borrow from time to time if necessary.
Second.
Okay. Any questions on that? Roll call vote. Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mrs. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
yes,
I
Okay,
vote
thank
yes
you.
too. Yeah, aye.
Okay, Mr. So,
Didn't see me today.
getting back to the old business, the superintendent's evaluation. That was emailed out to everybody. I don't know if anybody wants to.
Mr. Chairman?
Questions or anything, or wants to make a motion
I
to.
will make a motion to accept the evaluation for discussion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions or comments on that, Mr. Tucker?
I read the evaluations from my fellow members, and I couldn't agree more. There are many places where she was exemplary, and there's always room for continuous improvement, but I think she's doing a great job. That's my opinion.
I think we need a new category. Highly superior. or something.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen.
Yes, excellent.
Really, I just really want to thank the school committee and your support. And truly the teachers, the administrative team, it's really a team effort. No one person can do this job alone, and it's without the entire school community, the teachers, the parents, the kids, the school committee that's made this year such a success. So thank you.
But the team has to be led.
Yes.
Thank you.
We need a vote on that. Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
yes,
Mr. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
yes,
Okay. Student reports. Taylor
June
LeBlanc.
8th, 2022, June School Committee Report. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, and all other school committee members. Skills USA is preparing for the national conference and competition in Atlanta, Georgia from June 20th to June 25th. We have 8 students that will be participating this year. One of our students was recently elected a state officer. One of our graduates was a national voting delegate. Other graduates from health assisting are competing with their Spreading the Warmth project, where blanket towels are made for pediatric oncology patients at Boston Children's Hospital. Another graduate is also competing in restaurant services. We also have 2 students in grades 10 and 11 who will be representing the Models of Excellence and presenting our 9/11 memorial in front of a panel of judges relating the Skills USA framework to the project. Student government is wrapping up the year with elections for next year. Elections for the classes of 2023, 24, and 25 were held this past Monday, June 6th. The candidates worked hard campaigning and practicing their speeches. Peer Leadership has been selling sunflower grow kits for $5 each. All proceeds will be going to Sunflower of Peace, a Boston-based organization that has been aiding Ukraine since 2014. Sunflower of Peace started a new fundraiser to provide medical and humanitarian aid that will be used by the paramedics and doctors in the areas that are affected by the violence in Ukraine. Model UN had a great year. In addition to after-school debates, the Model UN Club participated in a crisis conference in the fall and a Model UN conference in April. Both conferences were held at UMass Lowell. Several of our students received awards for their performance. Last week, we held an ice cream social after school to celebrate the seniors in the club. We reflected on the school year and started to make plans for next year. GSA had a fantastic school year that is ending with Pride festivities. On Monday, Whittier GSA hosted the Northeastern Regional Council meeting. About 60 LGBTQIA+ students and their allies from Neshoba, Greater Lawrence, and Greater Lowell attended to develop curriculum and gather resources for activism through the arts. Each morning in June, GSA students have shared morning announcements relating to Pride Month. Our last GSA meeting of the year is Tuesday, June 7th, and will be a celebration of everyone's hard work and dedication this year. Multicultural Club finished up the year with 2 excellent presentations by a few of our freshman students. The presentations focused on students' life experiences in the Dominican Republic and the beautiful land and culture of Puerto Rico. We also commemorated our graduating seniors with a small fete to send them on their way and thank them for their contributions to the club. We will have one final meeting on Thursday, June 9th after school. Key Club is wrapping up the year with one last meeting this Thursday. It was a rebuilding year for us, but we are motivated by what we have accomplished. We are looking forward to a more productive year next year. The members will continue to seek out individual service opportunities over the summer, and we hope to come back in the fall ready and energized to do more. Interact Club President and Vice President officers joined the Haverhill Rotary Club meeting at the Poets Inn on May 24th. We enjoyed a buffet luncheon and spoke about the service projects we accomplished this year. Chess Club will be meeting on June 9th and June 14th to close out the year. We had great involvement this year with over 50 students signed up and 20+ attending each meeting. During our last tournament, all the final matches were juniors, so we should be strong in the years to come. Boys baseball finished up the season on Monday, June 6th. The team was the 18th seed in the Division IV state tournament. In a very well played game, the team lost 2-1 to 15th seeded Tingsboro. 5 seniors will be moving on after graduation, and the team wishes them the best of luck in their future endeavors. Girls softball ended the season with 19 wins and 4 losses. We have become CAC large school champs 8 years in a row. We finished second in the state vocational tournament, and our senior pitcher received the league MVP. Coach Cheryl hit a milestone with her 250th win. Boys track finished up with another great season. The crew just recently wrapped up the state divisional and all-state meets. The boys had great performances in the high jump, the discus, and the shot put. Jeremy Russo participated in all states where he impressively placed 14th in the state in the discus and 22nd in the shot put. Girls track also finished up the state divisional and all-state meets. The girls had impressive individual performances at the state divisional meet in the long jump, triple jump, and mile categories. Additionally, the ladies 4x100-meter relay came within a second of our school record. Boys lacrosse finished the season with 11 wins and 7 losses. We have made the tournament for the first time since 2014, and we play number 4 Weston on Thursday at 5 p.m. Girls lacrosse finished with a 4-14 record this year. We finished the year with the best record in the school history under girls lacrosse. There were no seniors on the team this year, meaning we will not be losing any of our players for next year. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Any questions for Till?
Good job.
Great
I
job.
have a
Great job.
question.
Mr. Tucker?
In your experience, do you think there are lots of summer jobs available for high school students?
I think so.
And
Yes.
there's not, some years you hear there's no jobs out
Yeah.
there. I'm glad to hear
Not
that
this year.
there are opportunities
Yeah, I definitely think
for
so.
students.
Yeah,
Anyone else? Great, thank you.
thank you.
Superintendent's report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Tonight before you, I have some personnel decisions and for informational purposes. I have route bus drivers. I have develop and integrate alignment of early college program positions. I have a full scale in early college promotion positions. I have early college co-advising model. I have admissions data team, financial literacy team, academic teachers to update and re-examine curriculum, teachers to work with curriculum teams, early college grade 10 course, curriculum facilitators, grade 10 grading team lead, and a grading team. I also have the resignations of a health office aide and a school adjustment counselor. A budget update, all 8 of our towns have passed our budget, so we now have 2/3 approval needed, and therefore our FY23 budget has passed, which is great
Congratulations.
news. Thank you. On June 7th and 8th, our grade 9 students took the biology MCAS exam for graduation. We'll be offering a free MCAS summer program for all freshmen and sophomores July 5th through the 28th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Students can sign up for session 1 and session 2 or both sessions 1 and 2, which we encourage. School building update on May 17th, Brett Murphy, Dick Early, and I interviewed and voted to have JCJ be our architect for the building project. Tomorrow, JCJ will be meeting with Bob Hardy to pick up our original drawings of the building. Next week, JCJ will be meeting with our administrative team to start to develop our education plan. They will also be meeting with our building committee. On Thursday, May 12th, I attended the early college graduation at Northern Essex Community College under their big tent. This was truly a wonderful event. There were 55 seniors. They were able to experience a college graduation. I'm happy to say that our seniors were able to earn 727 college credits. So a lot of our students received many college credits. On Tuesday, May 17th, I attended a remote meeting with the Whittier Fidelity Foundation with Kara Cosmas, Paul Moskovich, and Amanda Crosby. And we're hopeful that we'll be receiving a nice grant from that foundation soon. On Thursday, May 19th, I attended the Newburyport budget hearing along with Kara Cosmas. On Friday, May 20th, we hosted the DESE Winter Spring Working Group for our site visit, which is instead of a tiered focus review, they're looking at a new way of looking at our programs, our vocational programs, and reviewing those. On Friday, May 20th, I attended the Whittier Early College Provisional Designation Remote Meeting. I'm happy to report that we no longer have the word provisional in our title. And I want to thank Tia Gerber for all our hard work for making this a reality for our students. On Tuesday, May 24th, I attended the Merrimack Valley Chamber Executive Meeting. I was recently appointed the chair of the Education Committee for the Merrimack Valley Chamber. On Tuesday, May 31st, senior sign out, and it was our prom. I want to thank our senior class advisors, Alex Valhuli, Melissa Cook, and Kristen Bucco for all their hard work in making this a successful prom. It was a beautiful night. On Wednesday, June 1st, the Whittier Educational Visioning Planning Remote Meeting with Left Field and JCJ. We had a meeting, and this is to start planning our educational vision of our building project. On Thursday, June 2nd, we had graduation. Graduation was a wonderful night celebrating the accomplishments of our seniors. I want to thank Mr. Leganis for emceeing this wonderful event, and I want to really congratulate the class of 2022. On Monday, June 6th, I attended the Workforce Competitive Trust Fund Advisory Committee meeting. I've been asked to be a part of this committee by the Undersecretary of Education and was sworn in as a board member of this committee. On Monday, June 6th, I attended the Haverhill City Council meeting along with Kara Cosmas. And today I attended a Public Relations and Crisis Management for School Administrators remote course through John Guilfoyle Public Relations program. I'd like to establish a scholarship. So the Whittier Tech Foundation has received a $16,000 of a $24,000 endowment of the William Primek MS and Philip Primek starting in FY23. $750 will be awarded annually to a graduate of the dental assisting program who intends to pursue a career of further educating in the field of dentistry. The name of this award, the Dr. Joseph and Celia Primek and Shirley Lucia Dental Assisting Award.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? The roll call vote. Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Tucker,
Yes.
Mr. James,
Absolutely.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mr. Haviland,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor,
yes,
Ms. True,
Yes.
and Mr. Early.
yes,
Okay.
Next, I would like to ask for approval of the acceptance of donations of $199,060 listed on the attached memorandum from the business manager.
Do you have a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
move to accept the donation.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? We'll vote. Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Tucker,
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mr. Haviland,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor,
yes,
Ms. True,
Yes.
Mr. Early.
yes.
Thank you. Anything else? That it?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Principals report. Mr. Leganis.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, rest of the school committee members. As we know, last week, the senior activities, they were just a great success. We had the mock crash. Thanks to Gary James for coming out and talking during the mock crash. Thank you very much. Also, we had the talent show, honors night, the senior prom, senior awards barbecue, which another great success, and then graduation. I just want to thank everybody involved. The seniors, they face a lot of pressure in those final weeks, which can be overwhelming for young adults. But I'll tell you what, our Whittier seniors handled it with class and grace. So thank you goes out to everybody. It was just an amazing night. And it seemed like one long day from Tuesday to Thursday, but it was an amazing night. Thanks to them. I want to thank Mrs. McNulty, Mrs. Russo, and other members of the Booster Club and their efforts. They opened the snack shack that night in graduation. We could smell the burgers, I think, on the field. On the night of the graduation, they made over $3,000 for our kids, which is pretty amazing. Yes. And there's going to be a good chance, in talking to our athletic director, we might hold girls and boys MIA lacrosse games coming up June 14th, 15th, and 16th. So she's going to reopen that. So thank you very much to the Booster Club, Mrs. McNulty and Mrs. Russo and the crew. So amazing for our kids. Term 4 grades are due next week, and final exams are scheduled for June 10th, and then the 13th, 14th, and 15th. The last day, as we know, for students is the 16th. And then the 17th next week is for the staff, last day. Grades and report cards will be available electronically. It can be requested by paper form, by calling our guidance office or the principal's office. Also, a congratulations goes out to all the spring coaches and the athletes through all their successes. The future remains bright for all our teams. They're very young. And good luck to the lacrosse team tomorrow night. They're going down to Weston at 5 p.m. to play Weston in MIA state game, which is pretty amazing. Also, Sports Award Night is on Monday. Our Sports Award, that'll be it. The finals of the states, and then we're going to celebrate our athletes Monday, the 13th at 6 p.m. Here in the gymnasium. I also want to thank Bob Hardy and the maintenance crew for everything they've done throughout the school year, and especially to set up that graduation and the athletic fields the entire year. A big thanks goes out to the school committee and Superintendent Lynch and the entire district for giving us the resources this year just to take care of our kids. And it's been an amazing year, and it's a very successful year. Finally, I just want to, wish the entire Whittier family and staff an exciting summer as we close up shop next week, as I said, and what another successful year. So thank you very much.
Are there any questions for the principal?
I think you've had a good year.
Yeah, it's a great year, and it's all about the kids, and Miss Lynch can attest to that. Just an amazing year, even though it's been rocky the last few years with all that's going on in the world. So
Dr. Testerberg.
I was just wondering, what kind of summer plans do we have for the building? Usually you guys have all kinds of stuff going on.
yeah, so we, Ms. Lynch talked, we have our MCAS program going on. We have our credit recovery makeup, our attendance, also our attendance makeup during the summertime. We also, Mr. Bradley's putting together, we have it's the fitness training over the summertime as well for our kids. So yeah, we'll be busy during
Are
the
we
month.
doing any building stuff?
Well, we have Career Technical Institute, so we're doing the adult training
Yes.
programs. So we have that in plumbing, electrical, culinary, and carpentry right now, and I
Yeah.
believe welding too. So we will have a very busy
Yeah,
summer, but we're also moving our plumbing program downstairs into our old graphics area. So we have some building kinds of projects happening as well. So
yeah.
Bob Hardy will not be resting yet again this
Yeah.
summer.
So
So what's going into plumbing?
Electrical,
Oh, so.
it's gonna
wow,
expand.
big, huge space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cleared out. It's amazing how big that space is
Yeah.
downstairs too.
And then we are just waiting on final approval of chapter 74 for marine technology. We just put in the exhaust system that was needed to get final approval for that program. So we are hoping to have a final approval hopefully in the next week or so for that.
Yeah, so we'll stay alive July 5th.
It's gonna be very busy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Business Manager, Kara Costas.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, members of the committee. A couple of things for you this evening. You have received from Lisa the annual audit reports. There were 3 documents that she sent along. And we've been doing them electronically, and hopefully that makes it a little bit easier for everybody to read them because they are somewhat lengthy documents. The auditors also provided, as they have the past 2 years, a cover sheet with additional information. And just to summarize a couple of the key points that he highlighted, the opinion on the financial statements is unmodified, which is a clean opinion and the best that you can have. All reporting deadlines were met. The information that they received was accurate. They found no material weaknesses, and there was one suggestion they had in the management letter, and that was recommending that the district consider implementing an electronic time and attendance software that it can integrate with the payroll system. And this is something that we had started researching before COVID hit, and then COVID hit, so it kind of went latent at that time, but we do have funds in the FY23 budget for that. So we expect that we will be doing researching, and that will just continue our quest to be as paperless as possible in this district. So basically, it was a very good audit report. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr.
I
Tucker.
move to accept the audit report for discussion.
Second.
Well, their comments say a lot for you and your team.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
you
much.
do.
I have a very good team, and Again, we, as Mr. Lagana said, we are able to do what we are able to do because the school committee is so supportive and we receive the resources that we need from our communities. So as long as we keep focus of kids in line, I think we'll always have good audit reports.
Any more questions, Mr. Tucker?
Just one question about time clocks and swiping your badge to keep track of your time. Our system right now is not what you would call broken.
No, it's not.
It's just, you're going with a general trend of everything's electronic, no more paper, and we're just. going along
We've
with all
actually
that.
kind of moved that way since COVID. We're doing a lot with emails. People are keeping spreadsheets instead of the physical time cards. This would be, you would put your hours into the system that people already have access to request time off. And you would just put your hours in, and it's very similar to how we do our purchase orders. It would go to the next approver. They would say, yes, they worked it, it's approved, and it just goes up the line. It just makes things a lot easier, and it saves on the time cards, which sometimes can, take a while to get up to us. So it just integrates everything and it goes directly into the
How many
financial
time
system.
cards right now do you process?
Oh, not a lot because they're doing a lot by email.
The teachers don't have time cards.
The teachers don't have time cards. Sometimes they catalog their hours for after school work. And they report those hours to their supervisor.
Anything School.
Yeah.
If you're tutoring, those kinds of
So
things.
the time cards would be basically for non-salary personnel.
Correct.
And that would be what, 20 people?
No, it's more than that. It's a lot more than that. It would just make it would flow right into the financial software. So there's not a lot of duplication of work. It just feeds right into it once it's approved. And it improves the accuracy.
I can see where it's, a good system, and I'm not against it. I just want to be dragged kicking and screaming.
Any more questions? Okay, we need to vote.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Tucker,
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving. Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
yes,
Mrs. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
yes,
Okay.
Thank you. I'm also requesting that the school committee approve a transfer of $695,000. This was originally budgeted as the capital outlay fund, and we were supposed to do some building repairs and some road repairs with it, and then the rest of the money was going to be slated for MSBA. Again, we were very fortunate this year with additional funds that were available and lots of grants that took care of so many of our equipment needs that we did not need the $295,000 that we had expected we would use for the upgrades. So I'm recommending that we transfer the entire $695,000 into the capital projects special revenue fund, and that will make it available completely for the MSBA project.
Second.
Second.
Any questions? All right, roll call vote. Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Tucker,
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
yes.
This is true.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you,
hope
Karen.
everyone has a wonderful summer.
You too.
True.
Okay, committee chairperson, June annual agenda items, policy updates. We'll get those. Yeah. MASC, MASS joint conference delegates. Mr. Irving, you normally
I'd be
do that.
interested
Would you like to do that again?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to vote on that. Yeah. Mr. Wood.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we nominate
Oh, motion, yeah,
Mr. Irvin as the delegate.
Second.
okay. Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes,
Ms. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Yes.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
we need an assistant delegate in case,
an alternate.
an alternate. So I
okay.
would suggest, I'd move Gary James
Okay,
Second.
as alternate.
Second.
Okay. Mr. James, do you accept?
Sure.
Okay. We'll take a vote on that. Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Tucker,
Yes.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde,
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald, Mr. Haviland,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor,
yes,
Mrs. True,
Yes.
Mr. Early.
yes,
Okay. Summer meeting schedule.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I move cancellation of July meeting unless the superintendent and chairman find it necessary.
Second.
Any discussion? Questions, Mr. Tucker?
I have a vote.
Okay.
We sure you will.
Oh, God. Always votes.
Okay, so we'll vote to for the summer schedule. Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Tucker,
No.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Irving,
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde,
Yes.
Mr. Haviland,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald, Ms. O'Connor,
yes,
Ms. True,
Yes.
Mr. Early.
yes,
That was one no vote.
He misses us terribly in the summer.
Subcommittee reports. Executive, we have not met. I don't believe there's a need for any meetings in the near future.
we're gonna talking about it after.
Instructional personnel.
The Instructional Personnel Committee met on May 19th. We had a very productive and fascinating meeting. The Curriculum Advisories Committee and administrators brought to us the recommendation for a new textbook, and it was a history textbook. And it is like an encyclopedia. It is thick and absolutely beautiful and up to date. And so we approved the initial request, which was for the 9th grade book. However, the first series of courses, after reviewing it and looking at the financial impact of purchasing and long-term use, the second set of books for that series was presented to us. We reviewed that, and I remember it to be a unanimous vote to accept both of the books to enhance our new program and assist our curriculum in the history and civics areas.
Just one question. Is it US history or world history or both?
It's both.
I'm just curious how far.
Yes. It's both.
And they're really fascinating. It's leveled so that the kids with special needs can use the same book. The kids in the regular education can use it, and the kids in the advanced programs can use the same book, which to me is amazing.
And it's an
And
online
it's
book.
all,
And
it's
it's
an
not a
all
book.
online.
Yeah.
All kind of supportive information goes with it. So
Really.
it was one of the best history books I've seen in years.
I think also when, we said it's like an encyclopedia, the book is this thick,
That's good.
and the kids don't get a book. They have books in the classroom for use. However, everything is online,
All right.
and it outlines and study questions, and
Cross-referencing and so on. So
it's a phenomenal piece of work.
I would like to thank the committee for putting time in to look it over.
We were just
Yeah,
totally
really
impressed.
and other committee members look at it as well?
Will the committee, pardon me, what was the question?
Can we see it?
Oh,
Can we see it?
Sure.
I
can bring it to the office
Sure.
meeting.
No, I
yes,
mean, is it on here, on the computer?
we haven't purchased it yet.
Yeah, we had books to look at.
perhaps we could have some available for the August meeting.
Yeah,
Nice to just see one.
oh, yeah, that's more than welcomed.
You can give us a test.
Will, Paul.
We will,
Call
yeah.
sick.
The teacher will.
You're passing?
It's also going to help them with their history service projects too. So I think that's really great.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I move the minutes of May 19th.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any more questions? Okay, we need to vote. Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Tucker,
Yes.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde,
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mr. Havlin,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor,
Yes.
Mrs. True,
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Yes.
Okay,
Might add that Dr. Testaverde was continuing as chair of that subcommittee.
okay, great. Plant operations, Mr. Tucker.
Mr. Chairman, I move the approval of May 11 plant operations meeting. It was a discussion of what's been going on in the building, what's planned for the summer. And we don't have any new meetings scheduled at this time.
Okay, do you have a second? Any questions? We'll vote. Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Tucker,
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Havlin.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mrs. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Yes.
Okay. Salary and negotiations, Mr. Early.
Yes. We did, excuse me. My voice is a little froggy. We had a meeting the 25th of May. We're going to be talking about this in executive session tonight. We want to approve those meeting minutes.
A second.
Okay. Any questions? All right, roll call vote. Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Havlin.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mrs. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Yes.
Okay. Policy, Mr. Irving.
Mr. Chairman, I move the minutes of May 11th, 2022.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Take a vote.
Yes.
Mr. Wood. Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving, Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald. Mr. Havlin.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mrs. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move suspension of the rules in order to fast track the policies coming up.
Second.
Any questions on that? We'll vote. Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Havlin.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mrs. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we'll be having a first and final reading of the policies AC, non-discriminatory policy, including harassment and retaliation, ACR, non-discriminatory policy, including harassment and retaliation, ACAB, sexual harassment, and JICK, harassment of students. We'll need a vote for that. Basically, these are just to inform the committee. These are updates from the federal, state, and federal government. So it'll put us in compliance with the policies we already have.
Second.
Basically, it's just a couple of word changing and so on. I move it.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Havlin.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mrs. True.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Yes.
Okay. So on that, meeting dates, the regular school committee meeting will not be July 13th. So we're into August. Not sure what the date is. August 10th.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other meetings, dates that we need to know? Okay. New business, there is no new business posted. I need a motion to enter into executive session to conduct strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the Support Staff Association, to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel, the plant facilities manager, and 221 administrators, and strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel. 12-month staff as an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the committee, and upon completion of executive session, we will return to open session.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Tucker,
Okay.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Dr. Testaverde,
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald, Mr. Haviland,